Hi and welcome everyone to another video on my channel. My name is Denis, and in today's video we're gonna talk about the best players and best fixtures to target for the remaining of the season. And as usual, if you enjoy this type of content, please consider leaving a like, hit that subscribe button. But now let's get into it. Okay, so now before starting the video, I just want to say sorry for the lack of graphics and statistics from this clip. In this video today I just want to show you the fixtures for the remaining of the season, considering that we have just 3 game weeks to go, gaming 36, 37, 38. I just wanted to give you my honest opinion about the fixtures. We're gonna talk a lot about the best players to target, the best fixtures to target, and also teams, obviously. But yeah, I totally understand if you wanna skip it. It's going to be a lot of rambling in this video, so yeah, I'm just going to talk about the best teams to target and best players to target for pretty much every team we're interested in FPL. So if we begin this video, as you can see, the best fixtures pretty much are for Ipswich. Now, not going to talk too much about them because I don't think that there are a lot of options to target for Ipswich. And yeah, obviously, we have just 3 free transfers if you don't have any safe transfers. So you don't want to use really one of your really important transfers on buying Ipswich players. But yeah, the fixtures, as you can see, are okay. Brentford, Leicester, West Ham till the end of the season. If we move to the other teams, let's talk a little bit about Nottingham Forest because that's a more interesting team maybe. Now, Nottingham Forest players, I think that are going to be really interesting in gaming 36. Obviously, you can buy them in gaming 37 or 38 if you want, but the real good entry point, I think that is now in gaming 36, because as you can see, they are going to play against Leicester at home. After that, West Ham away, Chelsea at home. Chelsea is not honestly uh, a really great fixture to end the year, but obviously you don't mind playing your Nottingham Forest players against Chelsea. Now both of these teams are going to fight for the Champions League, so probably that game in gaming 38 is going to be a really interesting one. But now for gaming 36, you have a lot of options, so maybe you want to buy some defenders. In that case, you have, I think that Milenkovic probably is the best one with the most attacking threat. Now, obviously, he's also the most attacking one. You have Olaena, and if you don't have enough money to go for someone like Milenkovic, Nico Williams, I think that is a perfectly good option. And obviously, if you want to buy a goalkeeper, you could go for Sales, but I don't think that a lot of people are really targeting goalkeepers in the last gamings of the season. Now, in attack, obviously, you have the players Elanga, Gibbs White, Wood, and yeah, Wood is the best pick from these three. Now, he blanked in the last 2 gamings. Gaming 35, yeah, gaming 35 is not over yet, so Nottingham Forest are going to play tonight against Crystal Palace. So let's see how those teams are going to do in gaming 35. But Wood, obviously is still a good option. He's playing against Leicester at home. They are conceded a lot of chances. He's on penalties. They are fighting for the Champions League. So overall, yeah, I think that buying Nottingham Forest players in gaming 36 in particular is a really good idea. Now, if we move to the other teams down the list a little bit, we see here Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth is a different case because, as I said, for Nottingham Forest, I think that for them in gaming 36 is a nice entry point. Now, for Bournemouth, it's okay to buy them in gaming 36, but as you can see, Aston Villa at home, not a really great fixture. Although Bournemouth are fighting for Europe, they still could get that spot, but in gaming 37 they are fighting, they are playing against Manchester City. So yeah, especially obviously if you have players like Kerkez, Huijsen, you can keep them, but I wouldn't be really interested in buying them. So Bournemouth defense really doesn't interest me a lot in the next 2 game weeks at least. If you have players like Clivert, Semenyo, he was benched in the last game against Arsenal. He came in from in the second half and he got an assist, I think. Now, obviously, I think that Semenyo is going to start pretty much all the remaining games. and obviously Evanilson is maybe the best option from my point of view, but especially in gaming 38, maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't want to use all your transfers obviously one by one in gaming 36, 37, 38, so maybe you're going to try to stack at least two for the final gaming of the season. That's a strategy I'm also interested to use. And if you want to buy a player like, let's say, Bukayo Saka from Arsenal against Southampton in gaming 38, maybe you need to free up some funds, and in that case, selling one of your forwards, Isak, Mateta, players you don't really want for the last gamings of the season, I think that Evan Nilsson could be a really nice cheap option. So yeah, Wolverhampton, if we go to them, Brighton, Crystal Palace, Brentford, the fixtures are decent. Now, last gaming they played against Manchester City. That's why I said that wasn't the best entry point for them. Now the fixtures are okay. I wouldn't target necessarily Wolverhampton players now. I understand if you want to go for someone like Cunha, Ainuri. I don't see a lot of clean sheets myself, honestly, from Wolverhampton. I know that they are playing a little bit better in the last gamings. They are defending better. Cunha is a really good option. He's on penalties, on set pieces. He's really good for bonus points. Now it really depends if he's still going to get 90 minutes every gaming, considering that maybe he's going to leave in the summer. But yeah, from my point of view, I think that Cunha is still going to get good minutes. I like Wolverhampton player, definitely. If you have them, just keep them. I'm not sure about buying them, but obviously if you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. The fixtures are okay. Two games are at home against Brighton and Brentford, so that's perfectly fine. But yeah, you just need to consider about which players you want for the last gimmicks of the season. So you pretty much, you're going to make, let's say, 3 or 4 transfers, so you need to prioritize some players. So that's why I said what I said about Wolverhampton. If we move to Fulham in the fifth on the list, the fixtures are not really that good, to be honest with you, from my point of view at least. I know that they are fifth on this list, but still, as you can see, Everton at home, that's a really fine fixture. Brentford away, they are a really good team at the moment. They are playing so well. And also in gaming 38, Manchester City at home, that's not really a fixture you want your players to be in the last gimmick of the season. Now, obviously, if you have players like Robinson, Sessegnon, just keep them for the next 2 gimmicks maybe, and then reassess if you want to sell them. But honestly, I wouldn't buy any Fulham players at the moment. With Sessegnon, you have that risk that at some point maybe he's not going to start. With Robinson, you're pretty much guaranteed of starts, but Fulham are not defending at the moment like they used to in the beginning of the season. Now Muniz is out for the season, but Raul Jimenez, although he's on penalties and probably he's gonna get good minutes in the last gimmicks of the season, doesn't really inspire me with a lot of points potential. And in the last gimmicks of the season, I don't know, I just wanna try to attack those gimmicks and try to buy the most explosive players with the more upside. So yeah, if we move to 6, now, from this team, Brentford, I think that a lot of people are interested in the players. Obviously, they just won against Manchester United 4-3. They are scoring a lot of goals, Brentford, and that's what I really like about them. They are a good attack. The fixtures are really good. Starting from gaming 36, Ipswich away, Fulham at home, and Wolverhampton away. That's a perfectly fine run of fixtures. And obviously, a lot of people have Mbeumo, but if you don't have him at the moment, I would suggest you to try to buy him for gaming 36, because yeah, they're going to play against Ipswich. They are relegated. They are fighting also Brentford for Europa League spot or Conference League at least. So yeah, Mbeumo, Wissa, Shade, if you want to really go different. And yeah, obviously I would target Wissa and Mbeumo first, but if you don't have the cash, if you really want to go really different, Shade could be a great option. In defense, I like the options. Now, again, I wouldn't in particular target defenders for the last gimmicks of the season, but someone like Flecken, Collins, if you really want to buy a goalkeeper or a defender, they could be okay options. Spurs, Manchester United, let's talk about both of them at the same time, because I think that yeah, I wouldn't advise you to buy players from these teams. Now, obviously, they are going to play the second leg of the Europa League semifinals. Probably both of these teams are going to go to the Europa League final, so they don't really have anything left to play in the Premier League. We saw with Manchester United, with Spurs, they both lost in gaming 35. They are not really interested so much. They are going to rotate the squad. So yeah, although someone like Ahmad could be a great option from next season maybe, and a really cheap one, I don't think that you should target players from Spurs and Manchester United. That's just my opinion. But yeah, the fixtures are decent for them. Manchester City, a lot of people are going to talk about them. Now, obviously, a lot of us have a lot of players from Manchester City, starting with Guardiola, Marmoush. Pretty much those two are going to be in all the teams. Now, what is interesting, maybe with Manchester City, if you want to take a punt, if you want to go a little bit different, you could go for someone like Kevin De Bruyne, but the most spiciest pick could be Erling Haaland. Now the thing with Haaland is that he was benched in the last game, so he didn't play any minutes. Maybe if I saw Haaland playing 20 to 30 minutes, something like that, in the last game against the Wolverhampton, then maybe I would be a little bit more tempted to buy him, because obviously he's going to be a great differential. They are going to play against Southampton away, which is maybe the worst team in the Premier League at the moment. So he could be a really nice differential, also captain differential. But at the moment, I just think that his minutes are not a guarantee. We don't know if he's even going to start against Southampton. Manchester City are going to play against Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup final after this gaming. Now the time schedule helps us a little bit, because they are going to have a lot of days to rest till that final. But still, I think that Haaland wants to play in that final. Also, Pep Guardiola wants Haaland to play in that final. Now, yeah, I need to see more in the press conferences to see if there is a chance of Haaland starting at least against Southampton. But at the moment, I'm not even considering him. But again, Kevin De Bruyne could be great. And in terms of Marmoush minutes, obviously that diminishes a little bit of his appeal. I still think that Marmoush is a great option. I think that you should definitely keep him against Southampton away, and he's also maybe going to be one of the best captaincy options this gaming. And Manchester City are starting have the first fixture in gaming 36, so maybe you're going to get some leaks about them. But yeah, if you want to double up on defense, you could go for someone like Diaz or Ederson. But honestly, I just would target some attacking players if you want for the last game mix of the season. Now, West Ham, again, another team with some decent players. If you want to go different, you could go for someone like Kudus. But obviously, the player everyone wants in their team is Jared Bowen from West Ham. Now, the fixtures are again pretty decent for West Ham, maybe a little bit better than from Brentford. I'm just trying to compare Mbeumo with versus Jared Bowen, but obviously, if you're buying in Gaming 36, I think that you should just go for Mbeumo because he has the better fixture. Although, as you can see, West Ham and Bowen are going to play against Man United away. Probably they are still going to rotate even after the Europa League semi-final. So yeah, I think that Bowen definitely at that price, if Paqueta is not going to be on the pitch, he could be also on penalties. I think that he's a fine buy. Now depending on your priorities, I think that is a good buy this gaming. Manchester United, Nottingham Forest at home is not an easy fixture, but it's a decent one. And what I really like about Bowen is that he's going to play against Ipswich away in gaming 38. So yeah, Bowen, a really nice option. I wouldn't go for any West Ham defenders at the moment, but obviously, if you have someone like Areola, Wan-Bissaka, you could just keep them. Everton, maybe a little bit of a disappointing team because a lot of people bought Everton defenders for the last gamings, and for good reasons, obviously, because they played against Southampton, I think, but they conceded against Ipswich, sorry. So, yeah, but still, they are a good defense. Fulham away, Southampton at home in gaming 37. I really like that fixture. Newcastle away, not amazing for gaming 38, and also I wouldn't target any Everton attackers honestly for this run of fixture. Now, yeah, maybe for Fulham and Southampton they could be okay, but I just think that with the forwards, with the midfielders, we have a lot of options elsewhere, which are a little bit better. Now with Leicester, as you can see, another team with decent fixtures, maybe in gaming 37 against Leeds at home, because um, between that, they are going to play Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth, two fixtures away. Honestly, I don't think that you're buying any Leicester players at the moment. But in Gaming 37, if you have a lot of free transfers, if you want to take a punt, then yeah, you could just go for Jamie Vardy for one less party against Ipswich at home. He just needs one goal, I think, or two to get 200 for Leicester. So yeah, I like Vardy for that fixture in particular. If you want to go different, if you want to take a punt, Newcastle and Liverpool, two teams with a pretty tough schedule at the moment with different reasons. Still, Newcastle are fighting for Champions League. Now, I don't know if you're going to buy any Newcastle players at the moment for the next two fixtures at least. They're going to play against Chelsea and Arsenal, two really tough fixtures at the moment. In Gaming 38, the fixture is okay against Everton at home, but honestly, yeah, I wouldn't buy Isak at the moment. I wouldn't buy Barnes. I wouldn't buy Murphy or Gordon or anyone at the moment, especially defenders like Livramento, Trippier. So the next two fixtures are really not great for Newcastle, and could argue that maybe you have the options to sell your players. So you could sell players like Murphy to Bowen, Mbeumo. You have a lot of options. Maybe someone like Isak to someone like Watkins, Wisa. Wood, you have a lot of forwards to choose from. So yeah, I don't think that targeting Newcastle players at the moment is a great idea. With Liverpool, obviously they just won the Premier League. We saw they lost against Chelsea. I still think that the core players, I mean, not all the core players, but if you have someone like Mohamed Salah, honestly, I just don't think that's a rush to sell him, because I thought about it. Maybe a lot of people thought about it. You could just sell someone like Salah to Bukayo Saka, maybe to Kevin De Bruyne, but in all honesty, you just don't know if Kevin De Bruyne is going to play all the last three games of the season. Probably not, from my point of view. So I just think that if you have players like Salah, like Trent, like Van Dijk, Alisson, obviously it's not a big rush to sell them. Maybe with Trent, yes, because he just announced that he's going to leave Liverpool to Real Madrid, so we don't know if he's going to start again for Liverpool this season. But with Mohamed Salah, he's on penalties. He's the goal scorer of FPL this season. He's still great. I know his numbers weren't great in the last gaming, so obviously everybody knows that. But Liverpool are going to play against Arsenal home, and I think that they are going to want to show a little bit of why they are champions. And obviously Arsenal are going to play also for the same reason. But after that, Brighton away, Crystal Palace at home, Salah could be maybe the best captaincy option in gaming 38 alongside someone like Bukayo Saka against Southampton if he's going to play. So yeah, I think that Salah is okay to keep at the moment. Other than that, obviously I wouldn't buy any Liverpool players at the moment. Southampton, again, I'm not going to talk about them. Not really important to buy any players from Southampton. So yeah, if we move down the list, Aston Villa, another team. Now, there isn't a double gaming announced yet, and probably we're not gonna have that announcement. So probably we're not gonna have any double gamings this season, but still there is a little chance that Aston Villa and Spurs, I think, could double in gaming 36. So I would suggest you firstly to try to hold your transfers until we find that information for sure, because yeah, if that's going to happen, obviously maybe we're not interested to buy players from Tottenham, but with Aston Villa it's a different situation because they have a lot of good players. And even if they are not going to double, the fixtures Bournemouth, Spurs and Manchester United in the last two gamings of the season, I think that's a really decent run. And someone like Watkins, as you may know, could be a great option. I know that his minutes weren't great in the last game week, although we know that Rashford is going to be out till the end of the season probably, and he can play against Manchester United, I think, in game week 38. So Watkins, I think that he's a good buy. As I said before, if you want to sell Isak, if you want to sell Mateta, Marmoush, Watkins could be a really nice differential. Um, yeah, Rogers, Asensio, Konsa, Martinez, if you have those players, I would just keep them. If not, let's see, if they are going to double, we could talk about buying Aston Villa players, but at the moment, outside Watkins, I'm not really interested, to be honest with you. If we move even down the list, we have teams like Chelsea, Arsenal. Now, obviously, with Chelsea, yeah, Palmer just scored after a long period of time. I don't think that we should target Chelsea players. The fixtures are just not great. Newcastle away, Manchester United at home, it's fine, and Nottingham Forest away, it's really fine. As I said before, this is going to be a really interesting game if both teams are going to be still in the fight for the Champions League. Now, if you have players from Chelsea, again, you just keep them. If you have Palmer, you could make a case. Maybe the right decision is to just keep him for one more game week, maybe for two more game weeks, and after that you could decide to sell him for Bukayo Saka, because as you can see, Arsenal, the fixtures are not really great in game week 36 and 37. Liverpool away, Newcastle at home, I think that's a fine fixture. Now, it's not Southampton at home or something like that, but Newcastle are conceding a lot of chances, and if you have players like Bukayo Saka, definitely just keep them. As we saw, Bukayo Saka just started in game week 35. Let's see how Arsenal are going to do in the Champions League against PSG in the second leg, but yeah, I honestly feel bad that I sold Bukayo Saka. If I knew that he was going to start, I would just prefer to keep him, to just not make any transfers. And obviously, in game week 37, Newcastle at home and 38, Southampton away, I think that Bukayo Saka is going to be maybe the best captaincy option. And also, he's going to be still kind of differential in game week 38. So definitely keep the players. Now, although the fixtures are not great from a defensive perspective, if you have a goalkeeper, Raya, if you have a defender, Kivier, Saliba, especially Kivier, I think that you could just keep him on your bench. I wouldn't rush to sell him. Probably I'm just going to keep him in my team also on the bench, because in 37 and 38 the fixtures are okay for clean sheets, especially 38, obviously. So yeah, if you have players from Arsenal, keep them at the moment, although the fixtures are not really amazing. And if we go to the last two teams on this list, Crystal Palace and Brighton. Now, with Crystal Palace, it's a different situation, because as you can see, they are 19 on this list. But to be honest with you, the next two fixtures are really okay for them. Now, obviously, if they are going to play good minutes in those fixtures, so Spurs away and Wolverhampton at home, I think that for the game week 36, probably I'm just going to keep my Crystal Palace players. For example, I have Munoz, Sar, and Mateta. The fixture is great. They have a lot of time to recover for the FA Cup final. So I think that they are okay. Even someone like Mateta, who's not getting enough minutes at the moment. But in gaming 37, maybe it's going to be a problem, because the schedule it's a little bit more tight for gaming 37. So that's a concerning thing for me. And obviously in gaming 38 they are going to play against Liverpool away, so even that Liverpool won the Champions League, sorry, even that Liverpool won the Premier League, they are still going to try to play real good football in the last game week of the season at home in front of the fans. So that's a horrible fixture for Crystal Palace, to be honest with you. So yeah, for gaming 36, I think that's okay to keep them. After that, I will try to look to slowly get rid of your Crystal Palace players. Obviously, they are not going to double also in gaming 36, so yeah, but for the next two, if they are going to play, I think that's okay to keep. And with Brighton, not a lot of people are interested in Brighton players. Obviously, if you have them, you can keep them for gaming 36 against Wolverhampton away. After that, Liverpool and Spurs in the last game week of the season are not really good fixtures for clean sheets in especially now. Yeah, if someone like Joao Pedro is going to be back for gaming 38, let's say that's an okay fixture, but yeah, to be honest with you, I wouldn't target any Brighton players at the moment. Okay, so that's it. That was my video talking about the best players to buy, the best teams to target. Now, obviously, a big ramble from me, so sorry if you're not enjoyed that. And again, sorry for the lack of graphics, statistics for this clip. I'm gonna post some videos also this week, so don't worry, guys. But also, thank you so much for watching still. If you're there, If you enjoy my content, please consider leaving a like. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing to this channel. And yeah, I'm gonna see you next time. Bye.